and welcome to Ginger Welsh Allotments. I've made it onto the plot. It's a bank holiday and it's sunny, which in Britain doesn't happen often, on a bank holiday that is. So I'm going to show you around the plot and show you what I'll be up to today. I'll start at the top of the plot. This is the gate as you come in, and here are my tulips, which are out in full force. They're really colourful. This one is massive, this one here. And I don't think I've shown you my sweet pea arch. And I have got a couple of sweet peas in, which I grew myself, but they're not looking very great. So I have bought some more, and I'll pop some more in, as they weren't looking very healthy when I put them in. And over here I've got two rose bushes in, and they've just started to have a bit of life on them there. But they were in a pot, well, in two pots, for a good part of a year and a half, so I don't know if they're going to come to much, but I figured they were better in the ground with a bit of manure dug in, and hopefully I'll have rescued them in time. Since we were last over here, about 2 weeks ago, I put this black fabric down because all this area my dad turned over and it was beginning to get weedy again. So I thought, oh, I'll put the black fabric down until I get around to making the beds on the floor, which I've started doing with this layer of black fabric here. That's now going to permanently stay there, and then I'll have a bed in here and then more black fabric down here. And my tree surgeon has given me a load of wood chip, so the wood chip will go down on top of the black fabric, so it will look a bit nicer than this horrible black fabric. That's the main job I've got to do today, is digging out and laying all the black fabric. In this bed I've planted my sprouts and nasturtiums. I planted these about 2 weeks ago, and they have grown quite a lot since I planted them. There's my nasturtiums, and down the middle, they haven't come up yet, but down the middle along here are dwarf French beans, as I've companion planted them with the French beans, so that the beans will put the nitrogen into the soil that the sprouts can use in the winter time. Apologies for the lawnmower, but I planted up this bed yesterday, and I put in my leeks, which I'm growing in clumps for baby leeks, and then I've got 2 rows of parsnips down the middle, one there and one there, and I'll probably sow some radish in between. So I'll sow radish round about here, and they'll be long gone by the time the parsnips and the leeks come out. When I planted the leeks, I used what's called a puddling in method. So if you see this blank hole here, I popped the leek in, and then instead of filling earth around it, I just put water in it, and eventually over time the water will cover the holes, and it's meant to stop your leeks getting too much soil in between their layers if you do it the puddling in method, rather than just covering it all with the soil the first time you do it. This will be another parsnip and leek bed with more radish in it, and that's my first job for today. And over here will be my carrot and onion bed, and I've got some lettuces to intercrop like I did in the last video I did. And so I can show you, it'll look something similar to this. As you can see, the lettuce I planted a couple of weeks ago has flown on now, and the onions are not doing bad. The radish have come up, and I have got a couple of carrots poking their way through, but for some reason the carrots in the middle haven't come up yet. So at the end there's carrots, in the middle nothing, end carrots. So I don't know what that's all about, but I'm going to plant some more onions and carrots after I've done my leeks and parsnips. The broad beans have flown on. We've had some sun and rain and sun again, and they've just flown away. And the garlic's looking good and the onions are looking good. I think the grass mulch is working. I don't know if you can pick it up very well, but here is an asparagus spear poking its way through. I've just noticed I've got another one, but up until today this was the only one that had come through so far, so I was beginning to get a bit worried, but hopefully more will come now, so I'm pleased about that. I won't be taking any asparagus this year, as I only planted it last year and you meant to leave it for 2 years before you pick your asparagus, but it's nice to see that the plant is growing. The strawberries in the pots have had flowers on them this week. They've only come in the last week or so. So fingers crossed for some strawberries soon. There's a couple of strawberry flowers in this big trench that I made as well. So I need to get some more straw now to put down to cover this little patch and the pots. And this area I weeded and then raked over and then mulched with the grass on Wednesday. It was raining pouring here on Wednesday, but I came over and I got this area cleared anyway. So that was a good use of my time. So I'm going to get cracking with planting my parsnips and leeks now. So in terms of planting my leeks, I've just made a hole with a broken spade, and I'm going to just put a leek per station. And with the parsnips, I'm just going to make a small indent every 10 centimetres. Doesn't have to be exact. I've got this ruler out, so I make a straight line more than anything else. I'm going to try this parsnip called Student in this one. So that's what the seed looks like, and I'm just going to plant 3 per station. That's 2 more raised beds filled now, which means that all my raised beds are full now. So I've got parsnips in, carrots in, leeks in, onions in, and intercropped with radish and lettuce. So hopefully they'll grow well, and we'll have a bit of rain soon, so I won't have to lug a load of water over here. But that's a story for another day. I'm going to go home and have some lunch, and then I'm going to tackle the black fabric bit after lunch. I've made it back from lunch and I'm going to get on with the black fabric now. I came over and I laid the first bit this morning, very early this morning, and it was a job that I was really not looking forward to doing, because I remember when I did it last time around my gooseberries and red currants, it was a really hard going job, but that time I dug a huge trench, and this time I've only dug like a small amount to put the earth on top of the black fabric, so it wasn't as hard going as I thought. So I was really pleased, as it was something that was a bit daunting, but now it feels like something I can achieve quicker than I thought I would. So I'm going to get on with doing that. I won't film it because there'll be an awful lot of me standing around with my hands on my hips, scratching my head, I expect. So I will show you what I've achieved at the end of the day. I've done as much as I can today. I'm packing up and heading home, but I'll show you how far I got before I go. It doesn't look like an awful lot, but I've pulled out all the hard weeds and I've turned the ground in this area here, and this will be where my next pathway will go. I've just got to stand on the ground and flatten it all down, and then put the black fabric down to make the next pathway. But that will all have to wait until I come over tomorrow. As for now, I'm off home for a nice cup of tea and maybe a cold beer in my garden. All I can say about that for today is, lovely job! Hopefully I'll catch you next time.